How's it going, everyone? Thanks for watching and thanks for coming back. We got a bit of a casual video for you guys today, but pretty important if you've been interested in cutting the fenders on your Zr2. I'll show you guys how to mold the plastic, the fender guard, all that stuff. But just for reference, we're running the AEV wheels, the dual sport bead locks. The offset of aftermarket wheels makes it so that the truck rubs with factory tires if they're brand new. So I'll show you what I did wrong. You can see the gaps right there. It didn't come out perfect, but I haven't started the other side yet. I set the cameras up just for you guys, so I learned from my mistakes on this one, and I'll guide you guys a little bit better, but it's still me, it's still imperfect, whatever, but that's how much clearance you'll have after trimming it. The reason we're trimming is because thanks to Sterling, the guy behind the Skid Pro, he hooked us up with some Nokian tires, some 32-inch tires, and like because of the offset of the AEV wheels, which I love, so I'm not gonna switch back. See, we get no clearance on this side. So these tires, as is, rubs right here with stock tires. So with 32s, it's gonna be pretty bad. It's gonna cause some damage. I wanted to get ahead of that. So real quick for you guys, if you guys are running factory wheels, you could run the 32s, no problem. 33s, you'll get a little bit of rubbing. Okay if you're a street queen, but not too bad. But yeah, if you got offsets on there, you're gonna wanna watch this video to trim. I'll try to keep it, help it look as stock as possible for you guys. Make sure all the lines match up.
These are the tools that you'll need. Any jack will do. I just used one of these jacks. Yeah, you need a 5/16 drill bit, T15 head, a drill, safety goggles, a Dremel, a body saw would be best. Impact driver with 7/8, some needle nose pliers, the heat gun, keep it under 750, don't be a dork like me. Any paint would do, and some tape. So we got the wheel off with the impact driver, and all we really need to do, we need a T15 head to take these off, and the fender guard can just be ripped out, but I'm gonna go ahead and back out a few of these other screws right here from the fender liner, just so I can get back there and pinch the plastic clamps that are holding the fender guard on, just so I don't break anything when I rip it out. Check that out. That's where I was rubbing. It's not much. It was just annoying. It wouldn't have damaged anything. I could have kept going, but with the tire size upgrade, it was going to start to be a problem. And I hate rubbing. It just sounds like cheap mods.
Once you've removed all those screws and you're ready to take the fender guard off, you got to be careful. It does just pop right off, no problem. But if you don't baby it and squeeze out those screws, on the big part of the other fender where I showed you where it flares out, this is part of the problem why it flares out. I'll show you just because I yanked it out like that. On the two on the corner right here, it's got some graft over plastic that's just kind of glued on and crimped together. That part right there. On the other one, when I yanked it out, it detached, it came off, so it's not really secure. So you got to be really careful taking those two off if you want the flare on the corner to line up right. Also, once you take the fender guard off, you're gonna have this little piece of plastic exposed. This also has one of the same plastic clamps around right here that goes in here. So you got to reach back there and push it out. This one's hard to reach, so I'm gonna use my pliers for it. All right, so I got them loosened and coming out, and they just come right out, see?
This line right here to down here is what I'm gonna trim off, and that should put us flush with this line right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut all this off, all the way down, and then I'm gonna continue this line up here. And I go ahead and cut to here, and then I try to intersect here so that this hole doesn't have to be relocated. These two bottom ones will be though. I taped off what I was gonna cut. You can see there's a hole covered by the tape, and there's another hole covered by the tape. You wanna preserve both those holes, so don't get too close to them. And then you can tell, right, all that is gonna get trimmed off. The reason I measured the tape to there, I don't know if you can tell because of the glare, but you can see the body line right there where the fender starts to go back in. I want the plastic guard to line up with that line. And so you can use my reference. I just start east of that little first hole, or back from that little first hole. And then I just tape it up. I use a couple layers to get the curve just right. I'm gonna go to town with the Dremel and just cut that line off all the way down. And I'm gonna cut that back tab too to match. That back tab, I know you wanna preserve it because it holds stuff, but there's not gonna be anything for it to hold anymore. That holds part of the plastic pieces, remember? The Dremel gets too hot for the paint, but the tape is protected enough, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use it because the Dremel's easiest to cut. And so there it is. She's been cut. Here's a part that I removed. I went ahead and rounded this part too. If you guys remember, this used to be a straight edge. I just rounded it just in case it ever catches on anything, a flat tire, an exploded tire, whatever, that might come in handy. So we're good to go. We might have to trim some more, but we'll see. I'll just go ahead and line this up for you guys. So there it is right there, lined up with those holes on top. Sorry, I had to use my foot, but that's what it'll look like. So the line was pretty clean, pretty even with my other line on the other side. It's gonna look symmetrical. Another little tip too, when you cut right here, you kind of have to cut this at an angle, because on this spot, when it's flat right here, it won't sit flush. You'll see it protruding. It's weird. You gotta cut it at an angle just to make sure it can follow a nice seam. I'm just gonna paint it, heat it up, and then I'm gonna put some tape over here just for abrasive resistance, just so nothing's scraping off the paint. All right, so it's painted up. I hit it with the heat gun and I taped it up. I didn't want to use too thick a tape just because I want the fender guard to sit flush against here. So I put this plastic guard back on that goes over the fender guard, but I just put it here because we need to cut. We need to make it flush with this panel right here. So I need a mark right here and then mark on the bottom where it's been cut. Okay, so I got it trimmed. It's only got one plastic tab in it right now. I'm going to show you guys why. It'll go in right here, but once you get it in, so it sits flush. But once you get it in there, then you come across a unique problem. Those little plastic tabs, they just slide in. So once you have it in here, because you cut off the angle that wraps around here at a right angle, there's nothing to stop it from sliding off and sliding back. So this is how I fix the problem. I get them and I put a little tape in there and I wrap it around just to make the tolerances tighter so it doesn't slip out. I'll see if I can balance this and show you guys how I do it. So just tuck it in there. Pull it back around. Pull them back around and fold it over. And then just yank the excess off. Or you could cut, whatever you want. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just trying to make it tighter so it doesn't fall off. And that's pretty much all you need to do. Then you get in the slot right there and you work it in. Just don't use tools, just use your fingers because you don't want to break these plastic things. And there, now it's not sliding off anywhere. So now you can go and you can put it in, slaps right in, and it's not going anywhere. So now it's time to start assembling already. Everyone recommends you measure out the holes. You can get calipers and measure the distance from here to here, confirm it from here to here, and then figure out where you're supposed to be and mark and drill your holes. I'm not gonna do that though. I did that on the other side and I didn't like that method. I don't think you need to get that scientific to have good results. So I'm just gonna start placing it back in. And I'm gonna go ahead and snap in the first ones. So what I'm doing here is just making sure it's lined up. And I'm gonna leave all but the last one. That one's still in the normal spot. So I'm gonna punch that one in. Then I'm gonna take the heat gun and mold this out, and then mark where it wants to go naturally. Then I'll pull it away, drill the hole, and then go on to the next one. And look, you can already see it's lining up much better than the other one. I wouldn't pre-drill these holes. I would drill as you go. So here, let me show you guys. I already drilled the hole. It's a 5/16. I spray painted it also, and I'm already heating it up with the heat gun just so we can go back. Just FYI, guys, I would not go higher than 890. Probably 800 is good. I melted the other fender guard a bit. I'll show you guys. But yeah, you don't need to get too hot on here. Be careful if you're anywhere over 800. So I'm just gonna melt up this paint a little bit. I'm gonna punch that one in, and then we'll move on. I'll put some tape over that one as well. So I got that one in, and I think I found the tip for you guys. Look how clean it is. So on the other side, what I did, I pushed it all the way up after measuring, whatever. That's not what you want to do. If you pay attention to how the stock ones are, it's pushed all the way up. It'll push it flat against the cut, and then it's relieved a little bit. You push it back, and it relaxes nice. That's how I did this one. And look how clean the last one went in. There's one about right here. You'll see on the other side, there's a little bit of gap. So now this one's ready to go in, but if I push it in, I might not be able to get the other one in or drilled. So I'm gonna do that first. Push it all the way up to where I think it's supposed to be, and then relax it a bit. And that's where I'll drill my hole. All right, she's ready to go back in. I got it taped up, painted, heated up, and everything. So we'll start up here again, pop that one in, and just work my way down. These are hard to get in, by the way. I might need to put the camera down and two-hand this. And then that one. Yeah, I got it. All right, so she's on. She's not perfect. I'm gonna hit her right there with the heat gun and right there with the heat gun. But check it out. That's the raw fender right there. Just the raw plastic without any molding, without heating up. This one improved drastically once I heated it up. And look, it's not perfect. Look right there. There's not bad. So yeah, On this side, I measured and did it all as you're supposed to go. And this side, I kind of went cutting as you go, lining up the holes as I saw fit. And the results on this side are going to be a lot better. So like I said, don't go any higher than 850 on your heat gun, because right there, you guys see that? Yeah, that was at 900. So take it easy, man. It's a work in progress. Also, don't overdo it. Do it once and then try a week later, do it again. Just go and see how it goes. It doesn't have to be perfect anyways. But I'll put the wheels on and then that's it, we'll be done. I highly recommend you guys trimming this. I wanted to do this, I could fit the 32s or 33s easily. So if you do this and then change your mind and you still want to do some kind of lift to it, you'll be able to fit 35s, no problem. So you only need to hit it on the problem areas. Like I said, I'm at 800. Any higher than that, you're gonna start melting stuff. But I'm gonna leave it here. I don't know if you guys will be able to tell, but you can kind of see it moving and getting closer. I don't know if it'll come out on camera, but it kind of starts to mold itself at some point. There are some points that I won't be able to show you guys. I'll need to heat it up, put pressure on it, and let it cool. So if you have welding gloves or something, that would come in handy, because this plastic can get hot, but don't overdo it. You don't want to melt it. Yeah, look at that. It already got much better. I could live with that all day, and it's going to improve. You can see this part will start warping too on its own. Not as much as the other one. This one needs more work. So I'm going to keep working on this. I'll put the wheels back on, and then I'll show you guys the final product. All right, guys. So lucky for you guys, I made another mistake. I'm not tripping about it too much because it won't be long before I get enough trail damage to cover the blemish. But even 800 might have been too high. I dropped down to 700 because, I don't know if you can see, but yeah, I started melting it there and my thumbprint's right there. So whatever. Like I said, trail damage is going to take care of that. But if this were a street queen, you wouldn't be happy.
So now it's time for the tires. We jumped into the truck the next day and Hector and his diesel went out with us. We went to Utah to go meet Sterling and then the next day to Moab.
I know, with all the tires at the back, yeah, it looks like a support truck. Oh.
Awesome, yeah.
So chances are you're like me and you've never heard of Nokian Tyres before. I didn't either. I thought they were brand new, but whatever. I had no idea what he was hooking us up with. These are probably some of the best tires on the market. I'm not a huge tire guy, so I'm gonna prove it to you guys in upcoming videos. See that right there, the Aramid fiber sidewall and how it's got a little armored vest? That's because Kevlar is from the same Aramid fiber family. Chances are you've heard of Kevlar line tires before. BFG makes a couple sets, all that stuff, but they all start in 37s. So if you're a full-size truck owner or a Raptor owner and have been wanting 37s, you know there's a lot involved with it. Fenders, lifts, whatever. But if you drive a Taco, Tundra, Zr2, any mid-size or full-size, you want to keep the stock tire size on your Raptor, there's no other option besides these tires. They go all the way up to size 35, and if you're fortunate enough to run them on bead locks like we do, you can air down much more for extra traction and depend on the sturdy sidewall for protection and soaking up abuse. They also do some fancy stuff, mixing the rubber compounds for the top part, the grippy part, and then on the sidewall. Some fascinating stuff. I'll get more into it in the next video. Okay, so this part might seem a little silly to some of you guys, but it's pretty important to a lot of people, especially mudders, all that stuff. We just came back from off-roading and look at the dirt. Look at the sorry water pressure on this water hose too. The dirt just falls off. These tires never stain. They'll always look clean, easy to clean, always looking brand new. Sorry, the KO2 tires that I had on the Raptor didn't clean off like this, and the Duratrax, the stock ones, did not clean off like this. And they don't get your hands as dirty. So for now, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like, and please share if you know anyone that would take interest in this video, needs help trimming, or is shopping for tires. I highly recommend that. Next time you see us, we'll be in Moab. Hector went with us. We met up there with Sterling. It's going to be the first true test for these tires, and we're going to test his Skid Pro out. We're going to put a link to Nokian Tyres in the description so you guys can order some if you'd like, and a link to the Skid Pro in case you guys want to order one of those. We got to give a huge shout out and thanks to Sterling. He hooked us up with all this and made it possible just to help you guys keep it dirty.